good? What's happening? It's your boy, your brother, your uncle, your favorite cousin, Jay White, and welcome back to another episode of the Henny podcast. I know. But before we get started, let me just say, for everybody who continues to support the podcast, I appreciate you. And in the ways that you support the podcast, such as buying merch from the Henny merch store in the link tree that's in the show notes. You can go there and get your t-shirts. Summer is officially wrapping up, so you know that means fall is coming. So it's about to be hoodie season. It's about to be crew neck season. You know, you start wearing a little bit more, being a little bit more cozy for the vibes that are coming. You know, the change in the leaves, the temperature dropping. You can get that in the Henny merch store. Just click that link and go ahead and copy some merch. I appreciate the support. And as always, wherever you're listening to this podcast, please make sure that you're subscribed to it. Make sure you rate and like the podcast, whether you're on Pandora, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud. This podcast is pretty much everywhere that you listen to your podcast on. So just continue to show love by sharing the podcast with your people to grow the listeners. Show love to it by rating it. And as always, I appreciate it. Now that I've gotten that out the way, I know. Last time I recorded, it was fucking July. And here we are in September. Now, honestly, I could get on here and say life be life and whatever, because it do. It do. In a good way. Sometimes it be whooping on your shit, but in a good way, life be lifing. And I did not intend to not record another episode after the one that I recorded here in July. But it just turned out that way. So again, I apologize, since that episode that dropped in July, Henny Nights has now celebrated, I want to say it is the 6th. Is it the 6th anniversary? Excuse me. Damn, has it been the 6th? No, it's 7. 7. Henny Nights is now 7. It has been great continuing to do the podcast. It's been great having the many different people on the podcast. And that's another thing too. I do kind of have recurring guests, and I wanted to expand, open the door to have more guests. So I will be doing that here the next couple of episodes. There's no guest on this particular one. But I just want to say thank you for y'all supporting me for the last 7 years, man. From wanting Henny Gang jerseys to the Henny Nights merch to just listening to the show to getting on my head about when the next one is coming out and actually anticipating it. It just means that I haven't overstayed my welcome. You feel me? And so one thing about me is when I don't want to do something anymore, I don't do it. And I haven't hit that with this. I continue to want to do it because I continue to want to have a good ass time and continue to have dope people come on the podcast. So for the last 7 years, thank you. And here's to 7 more years of good luck, good energy, and good vibes. You feel me? So yes, there's a new episode of Henny Nights in September 2024. But shit's good, man. Shit's solid. Shit's been dope around this way. So as per usual, when I am solo dolo, It's story time with Jay White, and in the podcast with AMA. And so for everybody that sends in questions, keep sending them in. And I'll get to them. I would definitely get to them. Y'all have sent in a lot of good ones, and y'all for engaging with me on social media when I say drop a question. Again, I appreciate y'all. So before we get to that portion of the podcast, it's story time, and so this story was prompted by Mama White, actually, telling this story to, she decided to share this story with, my little my little boo. And it's a story that I actually, forgot might be too strong of a word, but like a refresher that this shit actually happened. So as you may or may not know, for those that actually, personally know me, and for those of y'all who don't, I am a prankster. I like a good prank. I like scaring the fuck out of people. I like a good joke. This, that, and the third. And so, let me set the scene for you. So it is spring 2009 at this point. And so, undergrad, really getting it out the mud at this point. I was going to school here in St. Louis. I was going to Harris Stowe at the time. And this sophomore year, or depending on how your credit hours are set up, you're still technically a freshman, but you still in like your second year and shit. I was a sophomore here, and I was still studying criminal justice, right? And so I wasn't working at the time. And, when all you really got going is school, and, you at the crib and shit like that, like, you're late, what you want to call a night owl and shit like that. You stay up super late, depending on when your class is, just being young and shit like that. So I'll never forget, the NBA playoffs were going on at the time. And so, and I know this, and I can connect the time because it was the playoff series that I remember vividly from this time. It was the Chicago Bulls versus the Boston Celtics, right? And so it was a crazy ass series. Like, Kevin Garnett was hurt during this time. The Bulls still had like Ben Gordon and a young Joakim Noah and shit like that. I can't remember. I think they had Nate Robinson too. I can't remember if Derrick Rose had got hurt that year. I think he might have got hurt that year, but it was it was still when the Boston Celtics were like the old Boston Celtics with Paul Pierce, Ray Allen and shit. And it was the series where they was going to like overtime and double overtime almost every fucking game, it seemed like. And so I said that to like put in the time frame that it is. So I'm guessing I had stayed up late the night before to watch the playoffs and stuff like that. And so, this is when I was still kind of capable of sleeping in to like goddamn 11, 12 in the afternoon now. Like, now that shit is dead as fuck. But I'll sleep. And so Mama White comes into the room and, shakes me out of my fucking sleep and shit. And so I'm like, whatever, I'm still asleep. Like, why are you like waking me up and shit like that? She like, Jay, get your ass up. And I'm like, oh God. She like, Jay, get your ass up. This girl just came over here and dropped off this baby. And it didn't fucking register with me at the time, like, you know, what she was actually saying. And so she shake me again and is like, Jay, get your ass up. This girl just dropped off this baby saying it's yours and she can't fucking do it. And she took off. And so at that point, that shit got my attention, right? And so I roll over. I'm like, ain't no way. Ain't no way. I roll over and she holding this like fresh newborn ass baby in her hands. And I'm like, nah, I know you ain't about to give it to me like that. I know this ain't the way I'm finna start off my fucking day. I've been looking for jobs as a, you know, I'm 20 at this point. A struggling 20-year-old college student. I'm like, I know you're not giving it to me like this, bro. It's all whatever. And I know y'all probably thinking like, nigga, were you fucking at that time? And I was like, you know, you getting it in, but I'm not getting it in, you know, unprotected. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm making sure, you know, to protect myself, to strap up, to make sure ain't no crib midgets running around. You feel me? So I'll roll over, and again, I'm still half asleep. And I'm looking at her, and I'm looking at this baby, and I'm like, man, stop playing. She like, boy, I'm not playing. This girl just dead ass dropped off this baby. And she puts the baby in the bed with me. And I'm like, and like, she's like, obviously like pissed and shit like that. And so the baby is in the bed with me or whatever. And I'm looking, I grab the baby and I'm looking at the baby, inspecting the baby like, what the fuck is going on here? And so like, now I'm like coming to or whatever. And I look at my mom and I dead ass. No bullshit. I look at my mom and I said, I know you ain't letting no bitch just drop off no baby on this front porch, bro. Ain't no way. And so I get a panicking now. Again, like, you not thinking all the way clearly and shit like that. So like, I'm running back the Rolodex at this point, like, hold up, bro. Like, 9 months, you know, doing the math in my head and shit like that. And she like, yeah, you need to figure out what you gonna do. And she walk out the room. So I'm like, huh? And so I'm getting up. I grab the baby, of course, you know, because I don't want to let the little bobblehead loose neck baby alone in the bed. Like, I don't even know this baby. Whose baby is this? Whose goddamn baby is this? And so I get up and I'm like, all right, let me go figure out what the fuck going on. So I get up and I'll go walk to our family room and shit like that. And it clicks for me once I see my cousin sitting in the family room and they cracking up. My mom and my cousin are cracking up. And like, y'all don't understand the goddamn sigh of relief that came over me, because I literally forgot my cousin had literally just had her baby boy and shit. And they are dying laughing at me and shit. And my mom was like, you won't believe what he said to me. He said, I know you ain't letting no bitch just drop off no random baby on our porch. Like on some stork shit. Like, because one thing about Mama White, you feel me? Like, she gonna get with you. She gonna tell it like it is. And she gonna keep it a buck with you. So I'm like, it, you know, in hindsight, I should have known it was a joke and shit like that. But at the time, it was just like, you don't know, shit, sometimes mothers don't be on their pivot, they don't be on their square, and shit falls through the cracks or whatever. So I obviously I'm laughing and shit like that or whatever, and so that's how I got to meet my baby cousin and shit like that. But yeah. In a previous one of my first episodes, I talked about a chick that I was dating in high school or whatever, tried to pull that Well, I shouldn't say she tried to pull it. Her mom put her up to it because her period was late, and period late. There's a bunch of other circumstances, but yeah, the mama was like, "Yeah, your son got my daughter pregnant," type shit or whatever. And this was when I was like 15 or 16, something like that. So there was a little, again, protected, I might add, but there was a little precedent set for that. You feel me? For that freak out to happen. So it all worked out. So if you want to go listen to that episode, it is called "Scam on the Baby." It's one of the first 5 episodes of the Henny Nice podcast way back when, speaking of 7 years. So you want to hear that story, and I may rehash it back on the podcast one day. You can go back there and listen to that episode. So now I just said that I get my lick back. I'm a person that plays pranks and stuff like that. And this is fair, you know what I'm saying? It's fair game. You feel me? I didn't get in my chest about it. Other than, motherfuckers dropping the baby off out on the front porch like fucking shipped groceries, That was kind of like, that got me tight a little bit that you just let that happen. But when it comes to pranks, you got to be able to take it if you can give it. And I'm going to get my lick back. So a few months later, I plotted, I bided my time, I waited, and I decided I was going to get my folks back. And I say folks because anybody in the vicinity, in the radius, is gonna feel that heat. So I didn't have a car at the time when I was going to class, so I was catching the bus to get to class and shit like that. And you meet some interesting characters on the bus. You meet some interesting characters on public transit in general. But you're going to always have a story. So I came up with this brilliant idea to scare the shit out of my folks. And so on this particular day, I left, caught the bus to campus or whatever. Still going to hairstyle at the time. And so I knew I'd be back, late afternoon. Both my folks would be there. And so this was the best opportunity to pull this prank. And so what I did was, I got off the bus close to the crib or whatever. And in my pocket from a previous Halloween, I had a fake blood capsule. Okay, follow a nigga, fuck with a nigga. And so I'm like, okay, today's the day I'm gonna get their ass or whatever. So as I'm coming down the street to the crib, make sure both my folks' cars is outside. So I'm like, all right, it's time to prep. So I had on like some type, like a light colored shirt, maybe white, but basically it was light enough for me to like put dirt on it and make it look like motherfucker got into a fight. And I did that. And then right before I went in the door, I popped the capsule. Now, when you pop blood capsules, that shit, you hold it in your mouth, you pop it in your mouth, and then when it's time, you open your mouth and it gives the effect of like, trigger warning for anybody, but it gives the effect that you're like bleeding eternally and shit like that. So I get to the driveway, I stumble up the driveway, and we have a little when I walked through the door, I walked in and stumbled onto the ground or whatever. And so my mom was downstairs. My dad, I stumbled in where my dad was. And I'm laughing, but it's fucked up. But I stumbled in, and he's right there, and so he's seeing me stumble in, hit the ground hard as fuck and shit like that, and he's panicking like, "What happened? Son, what happened? What happened? What happened?" And so that triggers Mama White, who's downstairs. She was on the phone at the time. That triggers her. She hears him asking what happened, screaming at the top of his lungs and shit like that. And she comes running up the stairs. And so as she's running up the stairs, I'm just saying, they got me. They got me. They got me. And then I'll roll over, and he can see the blood. They can see the blood and shit like that. And so now both of them are like, "What happened to you? What happened to you? What happened to you?" And I'm just laying there on the ground and shit. And so I could hear their reaction. And it was pretty hard to fucking, keep my cool or whatever, or be composed. I'm kind of laughing. And then my mom peeps it and was like, "This nigga all right. Ain't nothing wrong with this nigga." And so I roll over and I'm dying laughing, like bugging up. And I'm like, "I told y'all, I was going to get y'all back and shit like that." So she calmed down because, I got my get back. The get back is coming. But my pops is hot. He's hot. Called me a bastard, a motherfucking all type shit. You feel me? And so he was so tight that he had to actually like leave the house or whatever. So that made me feel, a little bad, but also a little accomplished. But yeah, the moral of the story is, if you gonna prank a motherfucker, make it a good one. And be prepared to get that motherfucking lick back. Cause that lick back, that get back, that spin back is gonna be hard or whatever. But yeah. Y'all let me know if I took a little too far. Some might say yes, particularly my pops, because he got the fuck up out of there, and he was not happy. But my mom on the other end kind of like, yeah, okay, you got it. I did kind of put a random baby on you, so it's fair. So, but yeah, man, life be funny as fuck. Life be funny as fuck. And I hope this ain't triggering nobody who ever had somebody drop a baby off on y'all porch like a stork, or like groceries or DoorDash order. Because yeah, hopefully you have somebody that advocate for you and not let you do that shit. Not let that shit happen to you. But moving on, you feel me? We got the AMA portion of the podcast. And so, got a couple of questions to answer before I get up out of here. You feel me? So, question number 1 is, let me pull it up. Let me get it right. Yeah. Let me pull it up. Let me get it right. Yeah. Question number 1. If someone plays in your face, are you the bigger person to let karma work it out, or just remove yourself as a result for good, or you getting your lick back? Now, as clearly as you just heard, I'm a motherfucker that likes to get his lick back. In terms of jokes, though. In terms of jokes, we're just in general though. If you would have asked me this 7 years ago, I would have absolutely been like, I'm getting my lick back. I am 100% getting my lick back and making sure you get to see the lick at full force. Now, at this big ass age, like, you do fucked up shit, it's gonna come back on you. Like, point blank, period. And I'm not the type to be like, that's your karma either. I'm not even going to throw that in your face. So at this age, I'm like more likely to just chill. Just chill. Because, everybody has bad days. You feel me? So in some shape or fashion, what you put out is what you're going to receive back. And so if it's in such a manner that like you fuck me over, like you just lose access to me at this point. And so if it's like, again, something where you fuck me over or whatever thing, I'm not going to go above and beyond to like, let you know and all this other stuff. I'm just going to fall back. And the cards are going to fall where they may. You feel me? I'll continue to focus on me, and what I got going and continue to push forward. They love to say the saying or say this, that one month, stop no show. The show goes on. You feel me? But yeah, whatever, it may be years down the line where, you reap the benefits of the shit you've done. That's not for me to say. But what I can do is control me, and then you lose, access to me. You feel me? Because I'm going to make sure that I do right by you for the most part. And if you're willing to risk that, then by all means you can risk that. But yeah, I'm not going to extend big amounts of energy to make sure that, you fucked up, and I'm going to make sure you feel that shit. Like, it's going to come. It's going to come in its own time. So I don't necessarily trip off that. So, but yeah, that's a good question. Next question. I might be a little petty too. I'll say that. I might be a little petty, but that's not like, again, I'm not gonna go above and beyond to get that, make sure I get that lick back. So, but anyway, next question. Well, this isn't a question. We need the visuals of Henny nights. So, I've heard that before. And so I'm thinking that in one of the next few episodes we'll actually get visuals. I've done visuals before. Actually, I need to get with Phil. Phil's been on the podcast before. But I need to get with Phil because we actually do have an episode of Henny Nights, like fully recorded with visuals and everything. So I'm gonna have to get with him. It's an older episode though, and I may just like upload it on some like Henny Nights read type shit, so y'all can see the visuals and stuff like that. But I've been thinking about that. I've had that. A lot of people have said that we need that, and so. Yeah, in the next couple of episodes, I'm thinking we're gonna have some visuals for sure. So I'm working on that. Definitely working on that. Okay. Next question. What's an experience from your youth that you feel helped shape who you are today? So from the aspect of relationships, definitely, I was a fucking lover boy, bruh. I was a big lover boy. And so, I still am a lover boy. Talking about I was a lover boy. But when it comes to, like, romantic relationships, like, I legit, for the most part, even in middle school, I always had some sort of, like, girlfriend, right? And so, it's puppy love, but you still can take something from it. But when I got to be about 18 to 20, like 18 to 22, I had like what I deem serious relationships because it helped shape my idea around relationships and what I do and don't want. So my relationship that I had from like, what was it? It had to be from 18 to like 20. The relationships I had in between there definitely shaped me. Cause like, nigga, you want to talk about toxic? Oh my God. Those shaped me to be like, okay, I absolutely do not want this bullshit. Like, whatever this is, you can't, before it was terms to it, before, mental health and all that shit was put to it, you have a better understanding of that. And, as you get older and you do the work and stuff like that. But yeah, that shit that I dealt with during that time frame, that was eye opening, for sure. How motherfuckers say they'll give a shit about you and don't really give a shit about you. That was eye opening. Another experience would definitely be like building like a true brotherhood with my friends. Like when I say, E. Clay, Mars, Phil, um, Ronnie, I'm forgetting names, but when I say like these dudes are my boys, my brothers, like that's dead ass. We've been through a lot of stuff together. And disagreements, debates, whatever you want to call it, but it not changing like the fact that I got your back no matter what. That I love you no matter what. Like, you my dog, bro. And so being able to genuinely tell them, I love y'all, you know what I'm saying, and not feeling weird. Lets me know like, hey, this is what friendships and brotherhoods and stuff like that are about. Another experience learning about prejudices and police brutality at an early age, and how the police treat people of color disproportionately to white counterparts. Getting slammed up against a cop car hood at, what was that, 14 or whatever. That opened my eyes to like, okay, like there's something wrong here. There's a little bit of abuse of power, or if you don't look like them, they don't give a fuck about you. There was that too. So that shaped me a lot. It's so many things I can think of off the top of my head. And then another one, I know he specifically said youth. I'll keep it to youth. I lost one of my very first best friends in middle school, passed away. And like, the idea and concept behind like somebody your age, because I think I was like 10 at the time, and getting that call from my other friend at the time, my other boy DJ at the time, and telling us that Kevin passed. Because at the time, you were like, only old people, pass away, and so having that happen so young, it was eye opening. It was very, very, very eye opening. Because that was my first time experiencing that. Being 10, I believe I was 10 at the time. You just don't think about that. Like, we supposed to continue to, grow up and hoop and talk about Pokemon and talk about music and listen to CDs and play basketball and all these other things. So, that shaped me a lot. And thinking about it, that might have shaped, how I view friendships and why friendships are so important to me. So, there are a few few moments. I went from youth to like maybe teenage age, but those are a few moments that definitely, shaped me for sure. So, next question. If you could eat only one junk food for the rest of your life, what would it be? Immediately. Gummy lifesavers forever, nigga. The wild berry pack. I could eat those all day, every day, dog. It don't matter. I need it. Injected in my veins. What's the worst lie you ever told to avoid getting in trouble? So I still got in trouble because my fucking motherfucking Kmart sent the letter to my house. But I got I got caught stealing condoms. Again, see, this just goes to show that I'm responsible, bro. Like, when you get through the bullshit, past me stealing, I was stealing something to protect myself. I got caught stealing condoms, and Kmart, it was like, yeah, we ain't gonna. They just took take you back to the loss prevention room, or wherever the fucking room is and shit. And they let me go or whatever. And so I didn't think nothing of it or whatever. I mean, they asked me my information and shit like that. I was also young too when this happened. But they sent the letter to the crib, bro. They sent the letter to the crib with the fine that I had to pay and shit. And my folks saw it. And when I say they got in my ass about it, dog. And then my ass was like, it was me. I threw I ain't gonna tell what homeboy I threw under the bus. But I was like, well, me and my me and such and such were doing it. And of course it was like, so and so do it, if so and so jump off it led to that shit. If so and so jump off the bridge, he gonna jump off that motherfucker too. And I'm like, yeah, bro. So yeah, I'm not yeah. That's the most recent time of like lying, but it didn't work. I thought I was gonna get out in trouble. Cause I think I phrased it like, I was just with him, but clearly not, nigga. But yeah, a nigga was stealing condoms to have safe relations out here, But I also didn't know that you could just go to the fucking clinic and get them shits for free. Cause they practically gave them shits away. Now they was the trash condoms. They would give you some boo boo ass condoms, but they were condoms nonetheless for you to be strapped up and safe out here. So, but yeah, I tried to lie about that shit. It didn't work. I still got even worse trouble. The shit was addressed to me, so it wasn't like there wasn't another name on there either. So like, horrible, bro. It didn't work. Next question. Would you rather have your most embarrassing moment turned into a meme or a viral video? So, I am technically both. I am technically both, bro. There is a viral video of me out there doing a reaction video to a very, very viral before viral Scarlett Takes a Tumble. If you can find that, kudos to you. But that shit is like over 10 years old now. And so yeah, shout out to Chester, man. We went viral of me doing a reaction video to it. And it's still one of the funniest videos I've ever seen. But yeah, it went viral. It definitely went viral. And years later, like maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, one of the homies sent me a link to this like it was like a blog or something like that. And she was like, "Is this you?" And so I go into it and reading. I'm thinking it's like spam. Maybe she's hacked. So I click it, whatever. Stupid. If I thought it was going to be like spam, why would I click it? But I click it and it's a legit blog. It's just not a fancy site, but it's a legit blog. And I scroll down and there's a gif of me or whatever you want to call it, meme, gif, whatever. There's a gif of me cracking up from the reaction video. So somebody uh turned that into a GIF, and so that was I never saw that before. That was my first time seeing that, and so I guess I'm technically both. Um, yeah, mugs be viral out here, but yeah, um, it's just funny seeing yourself when you were younger. Like we were doing like vlogs and reaction videos and stuff that's like popular now, like get ready with me's and like mugs eating in the car. We were kind of doing that back then. We weren't eating in the car, but you know, we were doing the vlog thing. So it's just interested in, um, yeah, I never expected to be turned into a gif or a meme. I need to start. I need to like say that shit. I need to use that shit. Using a gif of myself laughing at some goofy shit. So yeah, Mug's been doing this internet shit for a while. But yeah, man, that's the last question I'm gonna answer. I'm gonna hold on to these other questions for the next solo episode. But yeah, again, I appreciate y'all support. Continued support of the Henny Nice podcast. Again, if you want some merch, hit that show link. Hit that link tree link in the show notes. It'll take you to everything Henny Nice related. Um, Continue to subscribe to the podcast. Continue to rate the podcast. Continue to share the podcast. The clips, everything, man. All the visibility helps. And again, 7 years here, 7 years in. You know, here's to 7 more years of good luck and good vibes and more dope episodes of the podcast. So until next time, I'll holler at y'all later. Peace.